yes, you do want to get on it like that, but it has so much power that... Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be going over a fully custom 2016 Corvette Z06 with a manual transmission. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this Z06. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Z06, we have a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that's paired to a 7-speed manual transmission. Power outputs are 650 horsepower and then 650 pound-feet of torque. And the one thing I do love about this is how you have the carbon fiber right there that goes to the air intake. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. And then obviously it does say LT4 on the top, which is obviously cool because that is the engine this one has. But yeah, that's everything for under the hood. Now let's go over the front end of the Z06, and I do want to mention this car has not been cleaned off yet. It literally just got traded in, so it does still need to go through a detail and all that kind of stuff. I thought you guys would still want to see a video on the car while I'm down here. But anyways, let's go over the front end. So first off, we've got these Lamborghini style headlights, which look absolutely fantastic. I love them. Notice how you've got the carbon fiber venting right here. You've got the signature Corvette logo, and then we have the red tow hook up front with the carbon fiber front splitter on top of that. Just overall, the front end on this Z06 looks so aggressive, and with the Lamborghini style headlights, it looks crazy. Coming around the side here, we've got two 85mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then we've got three 35mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the back, so fully staggered setup. And then coming back to the front wheel, look at the size of the rotors, and then you've got the red brake calipers that say Corvette on it. And then notice we've got our Z06 supercharged badge here with more carbon fiber there on the side. We've got the gigantic carbon fiber side skirts, and then notice you have carbon fiber fender flares as well, which again look really neat. And then coming to the back here, notice that we've got a similar setup there with a giant brake rotor and then a red brake caliper as well. And then we've got the cool venting there on the back. And other than that, here is your full side view. Now popping here into the back, we have a massive storage area. Since this is a C7 Corvette and the engine's in the front, you actually do get quite a bit more storage compared to the C8. And then notice you've got the Corvette Z06 logo right there, looks pretty neat. And then we've got all of the netting back here. And yeah, that's everything for the trunk area. Now let's finish things up in the rear. So first off, we have the Lamborghini style taillights, which I think looks so cool here on the Z06. And then notice we've got the carbon fiber spoiler here on the back end. And then we've got the quad exhaust tips here just down below with a giant carbon fiber rear diffuser. And yeah, that is everything for the rear. Now here's the door panel on the front of the Z06. So first off, we've got beautiful leather all over the door panel with red stitching all throughout. Carbon fiber trim around the window controls. It does come with memory seats, and you have more carbon fiber down below. And then notice that we've got our carbon fiber Corvette plaque right there. And then here are the seats in the Z06. So full leather seats, it says Z06 on it. You've got all the red stitching all throughout, full perforated leather. And then we've got our adjustments right there. And then notice we have our 3-pedal layout because again, it is a manual. This is if the car dies, so you can still open up the door manually so you don't get stuck inside of the car. And then notice again, more carbon fiber trim all around. It does have a heads-up display. Those are the mirror adjustments. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the Z06. So first off, we've got leather all around the steering wheel with the red stitching. Got your Z06 logo and then more carbon fiber all around the rest of the steering wheel. And we've got your normal practical stuff, so like your phone control, voice command control, cruise control over there on the other side. You have the auto rev match here for the manual. And then you've got the light/turn signal stalk, and then we have the windshield wiper stalk on the other side, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the gauge cluster with the Z06. So you kind of have the analog gauges on either side, then you have that digital screen there in the center portion, which lets you scroll through different bits of information on the car. So for example, we can go to the performance, and notice how it makes the RPMs front and center like that. I think that's a pretty neat look. And notice how the speedo goes up to 220 miles an hour. Now we do have some different drive modes here with the Z06. So there's a drive mode select, I'll show it to you in just a moment. We have our touring mode, which is kind of like your normal daily driver mode. And then you have your eco, which is, I guess, even more daily driver, right? Good Fuel economy, which I mean, I'm not sure you can get good fuel economy with a supercharged 6.2 liter V8, and then you have your weather mode. As if anyone would drive this in the snow, that'd be crazy. And then you've got the track mode. And yeah, those are the different drive modes. Now here's the infotainment system in the Z06. First off, we're gonna pop it over into reverse, and notice you've got the backup camera that pops up, but then if we take it out of reverse, notice that it pops with the front camera, so it goes from one to the other. Obviously, this has a really long front end, so it's nice that they give you that camera view so you don't scrape that beautiful carbon fiber front splitter. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is Chevy's older unit, and so response time on the screen isn't great. It's okay. You guys can see that you kind of have to like really press down for things to happen. Then you've got the analog buttons here at the bottom, which make things easier, like especially this button, the scroll one. I recommend using that over the screen almost. But if you don't want the screen, just press that. There's some storage space back there. But I imagine most people buying this car, this isn't going to be the most important part because, well, this and the thing in front of me are the most important part. And then you probably already noticed that you've got the radio controls down here, and then you've got the climate controls. This does have a dual zone climate. I know it doesn't look like it, but you've got the climate here, and then you have the passenger stuff all the way over here because everything is driver focused in the Z06. And then I love how it gives you the horsepower and torque here on the inside portion. And then if you press this carbon fiber thing, it's just a 12 volt. Here's the shifter for the Z06. I really like how notchy it feels into each of the gears. It is a 7-speed manual. Reverse is all the way over and back. There's no push down or pull up for reverse. It's just all the way over and back, so don't accidentally go from a 7th into reverse. But I don't think anyone buying this car would have that happen. But yeah, that is the shifter. This is the drive mode select, and then the traction control is right in the center, which is pretty fitting. Got the parking brake, tons more carbon fiber all around with the stitching. Says Z06 right there, and then this is just some extra storage space. We've got a couple cup holders right there, and then you've got the glove box kind of in its own little area. And just notice, again, everything's kind of driver focused, so like everything's faced towards the driver. The passenger kind of lives in their own area. Now up top here, we've got universal garage door openers. Alcantara covers the headliner. Now just like all Corvettes, it's technically a convertible. You can take off this portion. There's just some stuff behind the visors that lets you do that, which again is one of the cool features of Corvettes. Well, now that we're done going over the interior of this crazy modified Z06 with a manual, let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Z06. So first off, visibility of the hood is okay. It's a really long hood, but that's why they have that camera to help out. And then look how beautiful the dash is with all of the leather. Here's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's about the rest of the rear, which is pretty okay, not great, but I mean, it's good. And again, they've got cameras for pretty much every angle, so yeah, not an issue. But anyways, let's set off. So first off, I did forget to mention how many miles are on this car. If you guys didn't see, this has about 5,400 miles on it, so it's very low mileage for the year. But again, some people with their Corvettes, they barely drive them, so this kind of happens. I love the actuation on the shifter. It feels like absolutely perfect. And I'm going to turn the rev match. I believe it's on, so we'll see if it's on or not. But I believe I have the rev match on, so that function's really cool. You can get it in the Camaros as well. Yeah, the shifter is just so notchy. This isn't intimidating to drive. I thought it'd be a little bit intimidating to drive, being such a long front engine car, but it really isn't whatsoever. It actually feels pretty easy. The steering's relatively light, and it's really not difficult to drive, but I'll get back to you guys in just a second. We are initially getting up and going here with the Z06. Yeah, the gear shifts are really notchy. Getting into gears, we'll see if I have it in the rev match. Yeah, so this does have, it is in the auto blip function. So the gear selection will turn orange if you are on the rev match function. Yeah, that's perfect. I have to like force myself not to blip the throttle because again, it's in the rev match function. But we'll get up and kind of get our acceleration here with the Z06. I won't go too crazy. Second gear definitely has some legs. I can tell you that right now. Second gear definitely has some legs. That sounds good with the, I mean, this is like just perfect with the rev match, obviously. This car is quick. But the one thing I will say is this car would get away from you very, very easily. Like, it definitely is a car that has way too much power and not enough traction. Yeah, I mean, the stability control light, even when I'm going partial throttle, is just flashing at me the whole time. This car does not get traction whatsoever. And I mean, that's kind of part of the fun of this car, right? You can do crazy donuts, all that kind of stuff, and you've got to really pay attention when you're driving this because of how much power it has. And I mean, it's got huge tires in the rear, but still, when you're front engine, rear wheel drive with over 600 horsepower, things are gonna be crazy. That auto blip, I absolutely love it. It sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely fantastic. The car is a little bit rough, I will say that, but I mean, I kind of expected it with being a Z06 and all that. It's going to be a little bit on the rougher side from a suspension standpoint. But I mean, other than it being a little bit rough, other than having a crazy amount of power, not getting traction, it's really easy to drive. Like I said, it's super easy to steer. It doesn't feel intimidating whatsoever. But you just have to understand, as soon as you get into second gear, this thing just comes alive, and it's crazy. As we're sitting here at this traffic light, I do want to mention the car doesn't vibrate or anything, but you definitely hear the engine, and the engine just sounds so nice just chilling there at idle. I love the sounds that you get from this 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Ooh, and it just like the little exhaust crackles you get, that's that is nice. But let's get into some things up here with this Z06 and where this really stands in my mind. So first off, from an exterior aesthetics perspective, I think it looks absolutely fantastic with these aftermarket lights and everything. I mean, it literally, like, I don't know if you guys can see a reflection in the truck. Because the front end and everything, it literally looks like we're in a Lamborghini. Like, the reflection kind of looks like that because of the headlights, which is, it's cool. I think that's cool. Love the aftermarket stuff on this. The previous owner did a really good job with that. Interior wise, this is a lot nicer than I remember. I, for some reason, thought, oh wow, the C7's not really a nice interior. This interior is actually really nice. Everything's pretty much covered in leather and carbon fiber, all really nice. And then from a drivability standpoint, you actually could very easily daily drive this, even with the manual transmission. And the manual definitely makes it a lot more exciting, even at lower speeds. Yes, you do want to get on it like that, but it has so much power that on the street, it's really not usable. I mean, like, okay, second gear right here, and you're just going through the tires. Like, it does not get traction. Like, plain and simple, doesn't get traction, which is okay. Again, that's part of the fun. But you just have to understand, unless you're on like a racetrack or something, you really can't use all that this car is meant to be used for, which again, it's fine. It still makes it exciting. But should you buy this over a C8? My answer is actually going to be yes. And here's why. Because first off, you cannot get a manual transmission in the C8 Corvette. It's automatic only. So that's a huge plus. Second huge plus, this is way more dramatic. A C8 gets such good grip and it's mid-engine, so it handles really good. But like, there's no drama, whereas this is all drama. It's front engine, rear wheel drive, no traction, crazy power, manual transmission. There's so much happening that it makes it so much more exciting to drive. It makes it just more of an occasion to drive. Yes, the C8's gonna have better all-out performance because of the mid-engine layout and because of all of that. But if you're looking for a very aggressive and very exciting driver's car, then the C7 Z06 is great. And this particular one that Chevy and Provo has, I think it's awesome. I mean, this has so many aftermarket goodies. Definitely worth a look. Now let's get some things up for our video on this fully custom Z06, and a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this Z06. Check out the inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.